right, welcome to the Sweet Talk. Today is Monday, December 16th, 2019. I am your host, Kim Matina, and I am a Google certified trainer and educator and a gold product expert for the Google for Education Help Forum. Plus, I'm a technology teacher. And today I have on the show Mr. Dan Stitzel, right? Did I say that right?
Yep,
I
you
usually
did. Yep.
ask people before the show starts if I pronounce your name correctly, and I forgot to ask you, so that was like pure luck.
That's okay. You didn't need to. It was perfect. So it all worked out.
So Dan, he is a technology integration coach for the Streetboro City School District where he lives, and he's going to share today how he integrates tech tapias into his school and district to help other educators integrate technology in the classroom, and how he supports them as well with providing professional development. So, welcome to the show, Dan. It's so nice to
Thank
meet you.
you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. It's so fun.
Oh, it's been a long time coming. I know we follow each other on Twitter and we go back and forth a little bit, not much, but
Yeah.
we interact a little bit. I know you had filled out the form to be on my show a few months ago, and I'm just glad that you were able to, commit and come in and share your expertise on this subject today. So I appreciate your
Yeah.
time.
No, thanks. I'm excited. It's great.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at your school, and tell us what this Tech Tapia is.
All right. So my current role is, so I'm one of our district technology coaches. So I've actually been in the district for 11 years. In the first 9 years, I was in the classroom only. So I taught middle school English language arts. So I taught fifth grade, seventh grade, and then eighth grade for most of those years. And then last year, I still taught half day language arts, but then I started doing the tech integration role. So kind of meeting with teachers and looking at what they were doing and just trying to find ways that we could, in like a simple way, start to integrate technology so it wasn't overwhelming, and especially the Google tools. So we actually started a Google level 1 cohort, so staff could sign up for it. And we did one before school, one after school. And then we're actually still doing that now. And then this year, I'm actually not teaching language arts this year. I'm just doing the district technology coach role. So I'm not in my own classroom, but I am in a lot of other classrooms every day and every week. So it's been a really neat transition, teaching eighth grade for so long. And then now I'm in a first grade classroom in the morning, but then I'm in Spanish 4 at the high school in the afternoon and everything in between. So it's really cool. So the whole idea behind Tech Tapas was just kind of the idea of like tapas, the food, where it's a shareable small portion of a food. So if you go to a tapas restaurant, you get, some bruschetta or whatever, just things that you can kind of take a bite and you talk and you hang out. But it's not like a full course meal. And actually the way we came up with this idea is my technology director and I, we were at a conference and we had been there all day. And so we were like super hungry after. So we went to, it was like Taco Tuesday. So we went to a taco place. And of course we had a pad of like a notepad with us. And he was like, we need to,
Wait a second. So tacos inspired your title of your
I can't make this up. It really did. So not only are tacos delicious, they are my fuel for thought, I guess. I don't know. I love a good taco. So we were sitting there and he was like, we need to come up with some type of like newsletter, like some way of getting the idea, that we want to integrate out. And so after like the third round of tacos that came out, like literally bringing like 3 tacos at a time, we're like, why don't we make it like food themed, like just little, like some type of like appetizers, like technology appetizers. And then we started talking and lo and behold, out of nowhere, he actually says like, what about tech tapas? And I'm like, that's perfect. So then we started the idea of like having, just small shareable ideas. So we have a font pairing every month. So just something that maybe people don't think about, but everyone, or at least, people in their classrooms are using Google Docs at least probably once a month. And one thing is when everyone's using the same font, it all kind of blends together. So we're like, let's emphasize font pairing. So let's give people two fonts that pair. Yeah, font pairing. So like a header font with your paragraphs. So kind of like. So we actually we researched it a little bit. We found some fonts that pair really well together so that, you can have emphasis on your text. And then, of course we had to be goofy about it. So on our poster, it's like, fonts that pair like, chips and salsa, or fonts that pair like football and naps, just like, because why not? And then we were talking about like, well, what are other things that are simple, like easy things that aren't going to overwhelm our staff or overwhelm our students. And so then we went on to a keyboard shortcut of the month. So each month we have, just things like Control F to find something in your document, or undo and redo, just little keyboard shortcuts that, take the place of a right click and having to, go through and search. So just things that people can integrate. So then, and again, we're doing all this while we're eating tacos. We're like literally sitting there. We have like Post-it notes all on the table. I'm pretty sure the waiter was like, what is happening? But we literally had like Post-it notes like spread out in between the tacos. And so then we got to the idea of students. We're like, how can, should we focus this just on the students? Should we focus on the staff, the community? So we started with staff. And so what we're doing in each of our tech tapas is we call it our 5-star review. So we highlight a staff member who has done something that's kind of stood out over the last month. So for example, our first tech tapas recipient, if you will, was one of our first grade teachers who over the summer, she got her Google Certified Educator Level 2 certification, and was doing all this like PD on her own. So we wanted to highlight that. And then we've had one of our teachers at the high school, her students, they run a coffee shop every Thursday. And so they're actually using Google Slides and Google Forms with AutoCrat to create the labels of their coffee. So we highlighted her as the 5-star review. And then we had a teacher last month who was using Minecraft to teach Roman architecture. So we put that up there. So we wanted to like have a focus of things that maybe, that teacher can then, or that staff member can then, help other staff members learn, just things that are happening in our district that are really noteworthy. So we wanted to highlight that. So that became a section of it.
Where do you
and then,
how do you highlight that?
So I can show you actually here. I'll pull it up on my screen here. I'll show you our first month here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that here. So this is I don't know, can you see that?
Yeah.
Perfect. So this actually, our tech tapas, and I probably should have told you this, what we do is we actually print our tech tapas out, and we hang them as 11 by 17 posters around the district. So we hang them above drinking fountains and copy machines and in the teacher's lounge, in the hallway. We put them kind of all over, about anywhere from 5 to 10 in each building, so that the teachers and the students see them. But the way we highlight the teachers, we just call it that 5-star review right here. We put their picture, we put their name, and then we, just quickly kind of mention what they're doing. And I make it a point each month when we do highlight that teacher, I make it a point to go to them first, and I give them the first copy to hang in their classroom, just because it is a really, it's an accomplishment. It's something that's really cool. We're not throwing a party for them, so to speak, but we just put their image, their name on that poster that's being hung around our district. So they're getting that recognition for the great things they're doing. So that's how we highlight them. And then each month we do a student pro tip. And the student pro tip, we focus around one of the Google applications that our students are using. So we are a G Suite for Education district. So for example, our first month, I highlighted the Explore tool that's in Docs and Sheets and Slides and so on, because a lot of the students see that little icon in the corner, but they have no idea what it is. And the second you click on that, you realize like the amazing power that lives in that tool. So by putting it on that poster, our hope is, 1 or 2 students every once in a while will click that icon to see what it is and realize, wow, this helps me, with correct citations, or in Sheets, this helps me with the formulas or functions I'm trying to do with the spreadsheet here. And so we have that pro tip for the students that doesn't take a whole lot of extra work for them, but it helps them, with the work they're currently doing. And then we have a general just Google pro tip.
I like this a lot.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I like this idea.
Yeah, it's, I think, again, it's that approach of the tapas idea of just small, shareable, tapas are food, like little bites here and there, but we actually call it, our quick bites of technology, because that's what it is. It's something that's not going to take you a whole lot of extra time to integrate, but as you start to use these little, tricks and tips that we're highlighting, you realize how easy the integration can be, or maybe easy is not the word, how useful that integration is. And a lot of people, it's intimidating. It's very intimidating when you've done something for so long. So when you hear technology, that intimidation factor goes up a lot for a lot of people. So that's why we really emphasize those, the word quick here, bites, just to get you going, so that you can then maybe be inspired to learn more information or whatever it might be.
So what do you change on your poster every month?
So we keep the sections stay the same. So every month we have a font pairing. Every month we have a keyboard shortcut. We have our 5-star review, our student tip, just our overall Google Pro tip, and our takeout. So what we actually change is just the information that goes into each of those categories. And we did that on purpose because we wanted it to stay consistent throughout the whole year. Because if the whole idea is to give people something that they can, as a quick reference, we don't want it to be changing each month. We want them to know that, hey, if I need a quick font pairing, I look at the top left corner. Or if I need a quick Google tip, I look at the bottom left corner. So we kept that format the same from month to month, so that it's that quick reference. It's above the copy machine, above the water fountain, whatever it might be. We do change the images. So like this is our school logo, but last month when we highlighted the teacher who used Minecraft, we actually used images of his students' work as in place of these images here. But now we changed the color and the content, and do change as well is the whole Tech Tapas then follows this font pairing idea. So our font pairing of this month was, I'm probably going to pronounce it incorrectly, but Nunito and Book Antiqua. And so then the rest of the Tech Tapas poster followed in that format. So we try and do that as well. But other than that, it's just the content that changes, because we want to keep the reference familiar. We want people to know where to look, what they're looking for, and so they can take that information in a quick manner.
And how are you guys seeing people using any of these tech tips or tech tapias?
Yeah, we're seeing it kind of all over the district in different manners. So I'm going to go back to my regular screen here, if that's okay. So the way that we're seeing it the most is, well, actually, I should say we're seeing a different way. So, for example, I'll see, I've walked by a couple classrooms or been in a couple classrooms where the teachers actually have the shortcut and the font pairings up on their board. So just quick things, like they wrote it up in the corner of their board, just as a reminder. The students are using, I've actually had a couple students tell me that they've tried the tools out. We're not trying necessarily to get everybody to do everything that's on that poster. It's just, we're hoping that someone here, someone there, a student here, a teacher here, someone who works in the office here, whatever it might be, they're trying those tools that work best for them. We know that not every tip or every tool on that poster is going to apply to everyone necessarily, but we hope that the information that does apply to people, they're at least trying it when they have the time. We have one of our office secretaries, we had the poster I just showed you was our first month. So we've modified it a little bit because, we've learned that was our first one. But when we were hanging up the second one, she was like, oh, I was wondering if this is coming because I couldn't wait for that font pairing. It was just so it was so gratifying. It was great. We're like, oh my gosh, they're looking at it. And it's things that, we had a whole conversation then on why font pairings, what's the big deal of a font pairing?
So explain that, what is the big deal about font pairing?
It's more of an aesthetics thing. So, if you're just using Times New Roman, obviously if you're using APA for an essay or for a paper, you have to use Times New Roman. But if you're, doing some type of poster that's going to be hung, or, just some type of doc that you're just sharing with someone, or a worksheet or whatever it might be, having the different fonts that work together, it's an aesthetics thing. So it makes the things stand out. It's more welcoming sometimes. So it's just appealing for the eyes. And now that we've talked about it, you'll notice it. You'll start to look, you'll see posters and you're like, ooh, they should have changed the font in that section. Or, like, or where you see the font change, you're like, oh, I get it now. Like, that looks good. So
I'm going to be
my,
more conscientious of it myself now. Is there
yeah.
a specific website that you found that has the font parents, or is this just, you did like a little bit of research?
I don't have a specific website. Our tech director, he is very in on the font pairing. He's the reason we did that. So he's the one that made me aware of it. And so I'm sure he has websites that he has used. But you can actually, I know for a fact, if you Google font pairings, there are font pairing generators. So I have played around with them. I just can't think of any specifically. But if you Google font pairing generator or font pairings, you can press a button and it will just keep flipping the pairings for you. So it's the way he explains it. It's a sans and then an open sans. So the fonts that pair together, some have the little feet like the bottom of the letter, and then some are straight, so that they kind of work well together. So it's just not all the same. So it's not changing up the information or the content that you're getting out of it, but it might be the difference for a student that, if a student reads something that's the same from paragraph to paragraph, they might start to wander a little bit, but just having that change from font to font might keep them more engaged. So that's our hope.
Yeah. And are you guys aware of the new LexEnd font in Google Docs?
Is that for students with dyslexia? Yeah, that's so awesome. I mean, just the accessibility features of the different fonts. And, I was actually, so that font is just such an awesome feature. I mean, it's just something that was a long time coming that we needed. But then, like I was just playing around with fonts the other day, and there's so many now. My sons are 4 years old. I have twins that are 4. And so we're starting the process of writing our letters, writing our numbers. And there's so many fonts in Google that are the dots. So like the dots that I did when I was in elementary school where, cat, but the C had a bunch of little dots and the A, I can make those worksheets now for at home, and I can print them, or even better, I can put them on a Google Doc, and my kids are using the touchpad or, a mouse to practice their, using the computer. So to trace those letters. So it's really neat just what a font. I know we've been talking about fonts for like 10 minutes now, but it's amazing what a font can do. So.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, it's part of, like, if you think of it, it's like part of marketing. It's kind of like you want to appeal to people and get their attention and have them look at a specific thing. So it's important. I just never knew the terminology font pairing. I just never heard of it before until
being honest, I wasn't 100% aware of it either until, my tech director brought it to my attention, and now I'm much more cognizant of it. I'm much more aware of it. And so it's something that I do my best to actually use.
Yeah, because I use something similar to what you're doing. I'm a technology teacher, and I have to push in and align technical lessons with other with the core subjects in my school. So it's impossible for me to get to everybody all the time and try to let people know what's going on out there. So what I do is I have a Google Classroom just for professional development for teachers, and it's just a platform where we can collaborate together, because my schedule is totally different than everybody else's schedule, and sometimes it's hard to meet face to face. So I use Google Classroom, and then every week I send out a Google slide deck with a new tech tip on it.
That's a great idea.
It's kind of like, I call it GTMS Ed Tech Tips, because it's every week. So it's kind of like I'll do like maybe one tech tip or 2 tech tips on there, give them the link, and then give them like a brief, a bulleted list of like what you can do with it, and that's it. Like nice, short, sweet, keep it simple, and then that's the tip for the week.
And this is our first year doing it, so we kind of started with the monthly. but our goal is, and kind of our, in discussions we've had, we'll still do the monthly poster, the Tech Tapas poster, where it's little bites of information. But then throughout that month, we will have, some type of blog or some type of website that people can go to as a resource. It does have like, a weekly or weekly tip, or when we come across something that we find valuable, we can add it to that. Because I'm a huge advocate. I put a lot of things on Twitter, but I also am aware that not everybody's on Twitter, and it's everyone's super busy. You come home, you have life, and things are going on, and so it's hard to catch up. And sometimes there's so much on Twitter that you miss like a whole day's worth of information. And so that is in our talks of having the poster that people see every time they're out making copies or whatever in the building, but also having that digital hub of a Google site or a slide deck or something where they can go and just access that information. It's a great idea, and so that's our hope for in the near future. So.
Yeah, because you can actually, because I noticed that the poster was a Google drawing file, so you can download that as an image, and then just put it on a website, or you can put it in a slide deck or whatever, and then that way it's a digital copy of it, and then that way you can archive it and people can find it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it actually, so it's interesting. I actually started with Canva. I started in Canva, which I love Canva. But as I was playing around with it, I was like, oh my gosh, again, going back to fonts, I need the Google fonts in the poster that I'm talking about, Google fonts. So I actually created the template in Canva, and then I imported it into Google Drawings, and I do it in Google Drawings. And from month to month, I honestly just change the color of the boxes. I mean, I keep that one template, I make a copy of it in Drawings, and then I just go through real quick and I change up the color of the boxes depending on the season or whatever it might be. I'm a big Cleveland Browns fan, so a couple months, like last month, it was very Browns-esque, because got to root for my dogs. But it was, so and like right now it's very like wintry. It's kind of green, like dark greens and browns, whatever. So other than that, I mean, using Google Drawings, like you said, we can archive it, we can upload it. It's great. It's so easy to edit. It's just it's coming up with the information and putting the information in takes a little bit of time, but the actual file itself, it's amazing how it's simple it is just to make a copy, change that up, save as a PDF, print it.
And you can even put it in Wakelet too, Dan.
I know. We were talking before. I need to be better about my Wakelet. I love Wakelet. And I was saying how I'm like in the summertime, I had so much going into my Wakelet, and then once school started, all those great things in Wakelet, I'm going back slowly and finding them, but it's unfortunately I have not kept up with the information in my Wakelet as much as I should. So, but yes, I could use Wakelet. Yeah, I'll get it.
I take my slide deck for my GTMS EdTech tips, and then I put it in a Wakelet collection too. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have to do that, but I do, and then I share that out on Twitter so people.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know. I'm a Wakelet person now, so everything is like if I'm making a collection, I'm gonna put it in Wakelet too.
Yeah, well, it's so easy. It's so easy to send things to Wakelet too. I mean, once you have that collection, you can send tweets, you can send everything. It's just a matter of clicking and sending. And I love the collaboration factor of it. I love that you can open up those different, Wakelets to people to add whatever they want to it, or you can keep it private. It's nice to have that organizational method there, but also collaboration at the same time. So.
Yep. Now, your Tech Tapia, would you mind sharing your template? Or
absolutely not. I'll put it in Wakelet. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, because I honestly I was thinking about making, in my spare time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thinking about having something printed out.
Yeah.
Copy. Just say because I do my EdTech tips every week. So if I do a poster every month with a collection from each week, I could print it out and put it by the water fountain or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it in the Wakelet.
I'll definitely, put your name down as, you're the creator and give you credit, of course.
Oh, thank you. That's all right. I'll tell you though, and the template itself, I was just on Canva and typed in infographics, and that's where there's so many there. So yeah, I think the hardest part initially was picking which infographic to start with. I'm like, there's just so much there,
So
and
you
then like I said,
you made the infographic template in Canva, and then what did you do after that?
so I actually saved it as an image, and then I uploaded that image to Google Drawings, and then from there I kind of layered. I added some boxes, so it was kind of a roundabout way. I'm sure there was a better way to do it, but I saved the image in Canva, and then when I uploaded that image to Google Drawings, I used shapes to kind of go back over the shapes that were there, and then that's how I could fill them with different colors. That's how I could add the different fonts. And then again, but that's the template I use now. I used that one, or I did that work one time, and now I can go back and revise that one each month. But I can definitely share that, so you don't have to do it if it's already done. I don't mind sharing that at all.
Yeah, all right, so you just kind of manipulated it more in drawings. You put your
Yeah.
your text box in there with your
Yeah.
text, and then okay,
Exactly.
okay, because
Yep, exactly. So I used Canva as the canvas. Like Canva was like literally like the canvas of it. And I was like, but then from there I was like, oh my gosh, I can't add Google fonts. I'm like, and if I'm gonna want to change this from month to month, I'm like, how can we make this easier? Like it might be more work now, but how can we make it so less work down the road? And that's when I threw it into Google Drawings. And
that's a good idea. Because Google Drawings is great, and I use Google Drawings too, but sometimes the orientation or the page size is a little off, and when you download it as an image, it's blurry.
yeah.
Actually, I learned from Tony Vincent, if that happens to you, to double the page size. So like,
Oh, really? That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, right. So I was like,
That's a
oh,
good idea. Yeah.
that's in him
Like,
because
because the one thing is I noticed that too. So what I would do is,
you have the
you can change the page setup right away. So like the first thing I did when I put that image in is I changed the page setup to 11 by 17 because I knew that's what it was ultimately like. I was going to print it on 11 by 17 paper. So in drawings, I went to page setup, custom 11 by 17, so that when it printed, it didn't get all pixelated. And that helped. But I like Tony Vincent's idea. That's a good idea.
I'm
So,
telling you, because I asked him, he's like the king of Google Drawings, and I
oh
asked,
yeah,
oh yeah, if you just double your page size, that blurriness will go away. Because I was downloading stuff and uploading it to like my website, and I'm like, this looks really bad. And
yeah.
as I changed it and doubled it, it fixed it. So I was like, yay, thank you, Tony.
So then you just save it as a PNG, so all that extra space is gone.
Yep.
Ah, that's such a good idea. I wouldn't even.
Try it.
Ah, Tony, that's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah. So shout out to Tony Vincent.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. It just saved me a lot of time. So I like that.
But anyway, well, thanks for sharing, Dan. I really
Absolutely.
learned a lot tonight, and I hope that other people found your information helpful. I
Great.
think as being other school districts call people like us something different: tech integration, a tech coach, technology teacher. We're all here helping others and pushing tech in. So to me, we're all the same.
Absolutely.
So anytime you can get a different perspective or a different idea to help other people, I think it's worthy. So
yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate it. And this idea, just having that idea of my tech director talking to me and talking to other people in this community that we're in, of slowly, small, little at a time. Like, it's so easy to scroll through Twitter and see 100 ideas in a matter of 10 minutes, but like, take it small bites at a time. Like, don't dump in the full buffet. You're going to fill up and then you're not even going to use it. Just appetizer style tapas, a little bit here, a little bit there, until you figure it all out. And it really it's been beneficial, I think, for our district. So
yeah, that's
yeah.
To note, because you always want to tell people start off small, and once you get comfortable, then you can go in deeper.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what we do. We have a million ideas, and our technology's in our title, it's in our job description, but yet we still know we have to kind of take it slowly, or else it's going to be so overwhelming. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
yeah.
That concludes our show tonight.
Right.
What I'm going to do real quick is share my screen. So tell me if you can see my screen. And can you see my screen? All right.
Yep.
So again, I'm using Sweet Talk tonight, and I'm so thankful for this tool. You have no idea; it's the best. So if you want to visit my website, you can go to thesweettalk.com. That's the SUITE talk.com, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, join my Facebook group, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the newsletter, find the latest episode on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and Google Podcasts. The latest episode and podcast will be here. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, you can scroll down and fill out the guest form, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Right now, I'm scheduling for March 2020. So I'm really thankful about that. You can actually check out the calendar and see who's coming up on my show here. If you click on the episode and podcast list, you can see past episodes and show notes for each one as well. Jamboard, come on and find out what Jamboard is, guys. You can find out, read a little bit about what I have here for my idea board for Jamboard. It's a great app, so you can check that out as well. And I'm going to go back to my friend Dan. All right, I'm back.
All right.
So that concludes our show tonight. So I want to thank Dan and thank everyone who was listening or watched, and hope to see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.